We are diving deep into one of the most explosive geopolitical issues of our time, Iran's nuclear program. But to really get a handle on where things are going, we're going to start with a pretty shocking look at where it all could end up. We'll walk back through the history, we'll break down that landmark nuclear deal, and see how it all could lead to a flashpoint. Let's jump right in.
Okay, so we're not starting in the past. We're starting in a hypothetical near future, a scenario that's been mapped out by strategic analysts. Picture this. The year is 2026, and after years and years of tension simmering just below the surface, it is finally, violently boiled over.
In this scenario, it's not a small skirmish. A massive military operation is unleashed. We're talking about a full-blown war, with potentially devastating consequences, aimed right at the heart of Iran's most secret, most sensitive facilities.
And the mission, which was codenamed Operation Epic Fury, had some truly staggering ambitions. I mean, look at this list. This was never just about stopping the nuclear program. The goals were way bigger, to systematically take apart Iran's entire strategic military power.
Right. A war on this scale doesn't just happen out of the blue. So the really important question becomes, how on earth did we get here? To make sense of the flashpoint in 2026, we've got to rewind the clock, way back.
You see, the roots of this whole conflict go back decades. And it's a story that starts with a very unlikely partnership, and then twists and turns through revolution, a brutal war, and just layers and layers of secrecy.
And here's the wild part. The whole story kicks off with a massive dose of irony. It was actually the U.S. Atoms for Peace program that helped get the ball rolling way back in 1957. Of course, the 1979 revolution changed everything. The program got shut down, but then it was brought back to life during the Iran-Iraq War. By the late 90s, the intelligence community believed a secret weapons project called the Ahmad Project was running in the background. Now, that was supposedly stopped in 2003, but the work on Iran's nuclear infrastructure, it just kept growing.
And yet, through all of this, for decades, Iran's official line has never, ever changed. They insist consistently that the program is only for civilian stuff, powering cities, medical isotopes, things are allowed to do under international law. And that fundamental disagreement, peaceful program versus a suspected weapons ambition, that is the absolute core of this entire decades-long conflict.
But you know, for a little while there, it really looked like diplomacy might actually win the day. In 2015, after years of really tough negotiations, this landmark agreement was finally reached. It was designed to pull everybody back from the edge.
You probably know it as the Iran nuclear deal. Its formal name was the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or JCPOA for short. Basically, it was a massive deal between Iran and the most powerful countries on Earth, all meant to create a peaceful, verifiable way forward.
And the bargain at the heart of it was, pretty straightforward, but also incredibly profound. Iran agreed to put strict limits on everything. They'd slash their uranium stockpiles, cap their enrichment levels, and allow the most intrusive international inspections you can imagine. And what did they get in return? The crippling economic sanctions that had isolated their country for years would finally be lifted. It was a straight trade. We get transparency, you get economic relief.
But this diplomatic win was incredibly fragile. I mean, almost from the second it was signed, the JCPOA was under enormous political pressure, and in 2018, the whole thing started to come apart. In May of 2018, the United States just pulled out of the deal completely, and President Trump's reasoning, captured in this quote, really gets to the heart of the opposition. It was a deep, fundamental belief that Iran simply couldn't be trusted, and that the deal itself was flawed because it didn't address things like their missile program.
Well, with the U.S. gone and the sanctions snapping back into place, the benefits of the deal just vanished for Iran. So what did they do? They responded by systematically breaking the very limits they had agreed to. One by one, the constraints of the JCPOA were cast aside.
And the result was, well, it was dramatic. The JCPOA had capped enrichment at less than 4%. By 2019, Iran was hitting 5%. But then, in 2021, they took a stunning leap all the way up to 60% purity. Now, just for context, you need about 90% for a bomb, but 60% is uncomfortably close, and frankly, there's just no credible civilian reason to enrich uranium that high.
Which brings us right back to where we started, our 2026 war scenario. The deal is dead, enrichment has gone through the roof, and the strikes have happened. So, what was the result? Did Operation Epic Fury actually work?
According to the analysis, the physical damage was just immense. The huge facility at Natanz, the deeply buried Fordow site, which was pummeled by bunker-buster bombs, and the critical conversion plant at Isfahan, all of them were left either crippled or totally inoperable.
But, and this is the crucial but, while the buildings were rubble,
The program was only set back. It wasn't eliminated. The consensus among analysts is that within just 1 to 2 years, Iran could rebuild and be right back at what they call the nuclear threshold, able to produce weapons-grade fuel on very, very short notice.
And this really points to a key strategy that a lot of experts believe describes Iran's whole approach. It's called nuclear hedging. The idea isn't necessarily to build a bomb today. It's to master every single step of the process so that you could build one really fast if you ever decide you have to. It's all about creating a deterrent through capability and ambiguity.
So that leads us to the ultimate question, right? After a devastating war, with its physical program in ruins, but all of its knowledge intact, what does Iran do next?
And this is where we land on a profound and really dangerous paradox. The very military strikes designed to stop Iran from getting a bomb might have actually made them more determined than ever to get one. Think about it from Tehran's point of view. These attacks would be the ultimate proof that without a nuclear weapon as the final deterrent, their regime will always be vulnerable.
This quote from a policy paper just sums it up perfectly. The strategic thinking inside Iran could completely shift. They might look over at North Korea, a country that has nuclear weapons and has avoided a direct attack, and they could see a very clear lesson. The bomb is the only real insurance policy you can have. So we're left with this really unsettling final question. You can bomb buildings, you can smash centrifuges, but you can't destroy knowledge. In trying to solve this problem with force, did the world accidentally create a far more dangerous, far more determined adversary, and in doing so make the very outcome it feared most all but inevitable?